Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into how artificial intelligence is shaking up the world of technical writing. The big question on everyone's mind is AI a helpful copilot, or is it a threat that's going to make the job obsolete? Let's get into it. Okay, let's just tackle the elephant in the room head on. This is the single biggest question professionals everywhere are asking. And yeah, there's a ton of hype and, frankly, a lot of fear swirling around it. So, are the robots really coming for our keyboards?
You can really feel the tension in this comment from a technical writer on Reddit. The pressure isn't just about the technology itself, it's about management seeing AI as this magic wand. It creates this huge gap between what the tool can actually do and what people expect it to do.
But, before we get too swept up in the hype, it's really helpful to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. AI might feel like this giant, unprecedented thing, but it's actually part of a much longer story. Think about it. Every generation of writers has had its own tech revolution. Back in the day, the typewriter was a game changer. Then came word processors, which made editing a breeze. Then the cloud let us all work together in real time. So when you look at it that way, AI isn't some crazy new invention. It's just the next logical step in our search for smarter, better tools.
Okay, so let's cut through the noise and get practical. Forget the fear for a minute. What can these new AI tools actually do for technical writers, like right now? The answer is a lot more than you probably think.
A writer's AI toolkit today is so much more than just a chatbot. It's really a whole suite of specialized helpers. You've got tools for brainstorming, for generating code snippets, for checking your grammar on the fly, and even for helping you publish the final docs. AI is being woven into pretty much every step of the process.
And this isn't just theory. The impact on daily work is real and measurable. A recent study showed writers getting back hours of their time on every single report. 3 hours saved on drafting with ChatGPT, 2 hours saved on citations alone. That's time you can now spend on the more strategic stuff that really needs a human brain.
Okay, here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Let's say you're documenting some software, and you need to write unit tests. In the past, that was a super manual process. Now, with a tool like GitHub Copilot, you just highlight the code, type a single command, literally just /tests, and boom, it generates a whole set of tests for you to review. That is a massive time saver. And this is exactly how it plays out in the real world. Here's another writer from Reddit who got stuck on a coding problem. Instead of getting lost for an hour trying to find an answer online, they just asked ChatGPT for some ideas and solved it in minutes. The goal here isn't to replace the writer, it's to help them solve problems faster. It's about saving that 30 minutes that, as they put it, felt very good. But, and this is a big but, for all its amazing power, AI is not a magic bullet. Not even close. The secret to using it well is to really understand what it can't do. And this is where that human expertise becomes more critical than ever. I love this quote because it just nails the core issue. An AI has incredible knowledge. It knows a tomato is technically a fruit, but it lacks human wisdom, the common sense and context to know you don't put it in a fruit salad. And that little distinction, well, it's everything. Researchers actually have terms for this. AI is incredible at what's called fluid intelligence. That's the raw processing power to generate facts and solve new problems at lightning speed. What it doesn't have is crystallized intelligence. That's the deep wisdom, the cultural context, the street smarts that we humans build up over a lifetime. So, what this really means is that AI and humans have complementary strengths. They're not competitors. The AI brings the speed and the raw data processing. We bring the context, the nuance, the critical thinking. It's a partnership where each side does what it does best. And these limits cause very real-world challenges. A survey of technical writers laid it out pretty clearly. AI struggles with technical jargon, it's hard to customize for niche fields, and it brings up all sorts of ethical questions. But the number one challenge? It needs constant human oversight because it can produce text that sounds perfectly confident but is completely wrong. Yeah, that need for a human in the loop is the biggest hurdle. Because without it, an AI can just make things up. They call it hallucinating. It can misuse critical terms or even slip security flaws into code examples. So without an expert human checking its work, that efficiency boost you were hoping for can quickly become a massive liability.
And this gets right back to the core of the human job. As this writer says, a huge part of their work is translating technical goop for everyday people. That takes empathy, it takes context, exactly the things AI struggles with. The real danger zone is when management's hopes for the tool are totally out of sync with what it can actually deliver.
So if AI is starting to handle more of the first drafts and the repetitive tasks, what does the technical writer of the future actually do all day? Well, the role isn't going away, it's just evolving. The focus is shifting from pure content creation to something more strategic.
The new core skills are less about typing and more about thinking. It's about becoming a master prompter to guide the AI, a sharp-eyed editor to check its work, an architect to structure the information, and an ethical guardian to manage the risks. Basically, you become the quality controller for your new AI partner.
Let's talk about prompt engineering for a sec, because it's a huge part of this. It's not just about asking the AI a simple question. It's an art. It's about giving the AI a really detailed creative brief with context, rules, and examples to steer it toward the exact high-quality result you need. It's the new way we talk to machines. And this new playbook totally changes what a writer's day looks like. That tedious drafting work that used to eat up your whole morning, AI can now knock that out in minutes. This frees up your entire afternoon for high-value human work, like fact-checking the details, restructuring the content to be more user-friendly, and thinking strategically. It's a perfect split. AI does the grunt work, you do the brain work. So where does all this leave us? All these changes, the good, the bad, the new skills, they're all pointing toward a new way of working, one that's built on a really powerful partnership between humans and machines. Honestly, the best metaphor for this new relationship is a flight crew. The AI is your copilot. It's running the checklists, monitoring the systems, feeding you data. But you are the pilot. Your hands are on the controls. You're the one making the critical judgment calls, charting the course, and you are ultimately responsible for landing this plane safely. As technical writer Cameron Fletcher puts it, it all comes down to a new mindset. AI is just another tool in your toolbox, another skill you have to learn and master. The writers who are going to succeed are the ones who stay curious, who keep learning, and who figure out how to make these tools work for them. Which really brings us to the final big thought here. AI is getting incredibly good at explaining the how a feature works, how to run a command. But the uniquely human skill, the one that's truly irreplaceable, is understanding and communicating the why. Why does this matter to the user? Why should they care? And that, at the end of the day, is the human heart of great technical communication.